Hello and welcome to New Game Plus for another week. My name is Donald, playing Jason for the day, whilst Jason is away. Now, we're in a little bit of a quiet period at the moment, but we are just about to hit 3 big games, and we will discuss exactly 2 of them this week. With Half-Life Alyx coming out, we'll be discussing the state of virtual reality. We'll also be trying to sell one of our crew members on Animal Crossing New Horizons. Will he buy it afterwards? There's only one way to find out. We will also have an interview with local influencer Liessshy, so look forward to all of that. But before all that, here's something completely different.
All right, here we are at Mad Fest in Sydney. It's all going on around me. And it's been an interesting show, you know, like we've had Nintendo over there with Animal Crossing. We've had the stage shows up over there. It's a lot of stuff going on at the moment, and it's surprisingly good turnout considering obviously all of the craziness surrounding the coronavirus. A lot of people have still shown up, and it's a lot of wholesome stuff. Like, you know, despite what Senator McGriff, the crime dog, says, well, I guess the collective shout dog, whatever he says, there's very little, you know, there's no shenanigans going on here. I mean, there's a crazy cult out the front they set up tents, they had this whole like sing-along thing, it was really weird. But he somehow doesn't seem to be rallying against the Hillsong people. Funny that. Don't want to go into it too much, but realistically, the community here has been really good. We did lose a set of Joy-Cons, so unfortunately, it's somebody's made a bit of a bad influence on everyone else. But I mean, like, look at this. Everyone's just chilling out, having a good time, and we really do enjoy coming down to the Madman Festival every year. They've always made space for us. There's like plenty of stuff going on. We've got Rune Factory there. We've got like Cotton Candy Cyanide with Quantum Suicide here. You know, we've just got a lot of stuff going on. So make sure you do check us out if you're at a Mad Fest. So that's Brisbane, that's Melbourne, there's a few others as well. And we hopefully will see you next time.
Remember 2-3 years ago when VR headsets first started coming out, when we were promised this grand future where VR gaming would be the primary way that we absorb gaming? Cut to 2020 and not so much. But we are soon coming into the release of Half-Life Alyx, Valve's first major single-player game in a long time and its first major foray into VR. I'm the only one on the New Game Plus that has a VR headset though, so I'm brought on some observers.
Hello.
Jamie and Jack.
Yes.
To try and not sell you on VR, but necessarily just get the temperature of what normal people think of this whole VR scene, I guess.
Well, thank you for referring to me as a normal person. I appreciate that.
No worries. Just off the top, would you get a VR headset?
No. I've looked at, because there's a lot of, people have been trying to make VR a thing for, I feel like every year it's like, oh, this is the year of VR, like it's Linux for some reason, but every time I hear people talk about VR, every time I see like a video of like a cool VR game that people are ostensibly trying to sell to me, it's like, I don't see the attraction. It's like, to me, it just feels like everything I see is like a short experience. It's a gimmick. It feels more like a theme park attraction. And don't get me wrong, I love theme parks.
Literally the first batch of apps and games were just virtual roller coaster rides, so you're not far off the truth.
No, pretty much, but it's just like, I've looked at, I follow everything that comes out because I want to see what people are doing, but it's like, I just don't see why everything, like the stuff I really want, like there's a Space Channel 5 VR game, it's like, that's great. Why is it a VR game? Why can't I play this? Why do I need a VR headset to go play this game? Like, I do not get it.
Cringe?
I think it also, it's a bit of a conundrum for developers that are really compelled by VR, right? Like the power of really immersing someone spatially and not wanting to spoil it by making it a more accessible experience. But I think from my perspective, getting into VR, my main experience in VR is actually being with mobile VR. So I had a Galaxy S8 and I was on Google Daydream. And so this had a lot of more, like the whole point, I wasn't, getting a gamer's VR headset. Like I wasn't getting a Vive or an Oculus. I didn't put down a crazy amount of money for this either. It was a $100 headset. And so a lot of these experiences were jump in, short, in and out, have a little bit of fun, except for, what was that weird PS2 game that came with a vibrator?
Rez.
So that's also on VR on Google Daydream. That was a little bit weird. Everything else that I had was a little bit more accessible and very much in and out and easy to sort of digest rather than putting on this big thing connected to a big box
thing,
and
yeah,
big
having to set up your lighthouses to make sure your everything is tracking.
VR, yeah.
But I will say, like, if you manage to get over the obstacle, the many
There are a lot of them.
obstacles of VR,
Yep.
the price, the computer setup, the having to physically set up your room, making sure you have a room that's big enough.
And that's kind of the thing with me, because my gaming PC is in my room. Like where I
Yeah.
sleep, I don't have room to put in like a full-on. I only do like sitting VR, so I can't do anything super crazy. Like I probably couldn't do Beat Saber if I really
Like
wanted to.
there are games out there that do accommodate for stated VR, and indeed Half-Life Alyx has myriad options, has all the options. But I think
should.
Jack, you're talking about the immersion, and that's when I tried VR for the first time. That's kind of what got me. Like it was 2 or 3 games that ultimately end up selling me on the device. And like if you do end up getting a VR headset for Half-Life Alyx, or if you've already got one, like 3 games that you have, if you haven't already tried, there is Super Hot VR, which is just super cool. Like time moves when you move, and so you're just in this sort of very cyber inspired world, moving in slow motion, dodging bullets. It's just like a thrilling experience. There's Beat Saber, which you mentioned before, Jamie, which is just a rhythm game, but I would recommend that you play with modded songs added, because the songs that come with the game are not good. But if you what's called mod the song, if you get some K-pop in there, you get some Alexander Hamilton in there, it's great.
The stuff they can't afford to license.
Yeah. And then, weirdly enough, the app that kind of got me sort of the most sold on VR is Google Earth. Of being able to just like visit not only sort of historical landmarks around the world, but also just have a new perspective on like locations I'm familiar with. On going back to my childhood suburb, for instance.
They have like a lot of pictures from like much. They basically have a timeline.
It's
of
basically
what it was
just it's
like.
integration of Google Street View and everything over the top.
And
it's oddly it just keeps it still leaves me kind of wordless actually.
Breathless.
I mean, look, honestly, that's kind of the thing that I personally see as VR as an application, is that it's really good for real estate. Like, it's great for you, like, okay, maybe I can't get to the property, or maybe it's still being built. I can just, put on a headset, I can basically do like a walk around, I can kind of see everything. I know, like, this is maybe a little inside baseball, we got invited to go see Fortress, the inside of Fortress at PAX using entirely VR. Like, that's really interesting. You can actually do that.
At the start of the VR scene, all we saw was basically shooting galleries. It was very homogenous.
I honestly feel like we're still getting a lot of shooting galleries.
We're getting better there, though. And there was also that time where every game was a rhythm game trying to be a Beat Saber clone. But nowadays, like especially in 2020, where we had the release of Boneworks and The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners, these are games which have much more confidence in how the player will accept VR, and they lean much heavier into physics.
Yeah.
And really, that seems like a major stepping stone in VR immersion.
Like, look, Boneworks is maybe the one that I was maybe a little convinced of. Like, this actually does seem really interesting, but again, I don't have the money, I don't have the space, like I can't really take advantage of it. So it's like,
but with Half-Life Alyx coming out, with being like seemingly the big first AAA VR game,
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah, and basically like the big selling point for it, like, does that compel you at all to at least give VR a go?
Look, if I could somehow get a headset for not $500, maybe, but I mean,
I start charging at $100 per visit, Jamie.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean,
Jack.
More if you want to turn the aircon on. Yeah, I mean, we've just gotten through summer, but no, not really. Like, I, first of all, haven't really got a big affinity for the Half-Life series. Also, I'm running on laptops at the moment, so I am definitely like not in a position to run that VR.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, it's like, as much as we're used to these big machines being able to run it, I think that making it more accessible. If I can run stuff on my phone, I should be able to run stuff on my PC.
Yeah, fair. And worst case, you've always got just YouTube playthroughs of Half-Life Alyx you can watch. So that's our thoughts, but I'm interested to hear what you, the audience, think about where VR is at the moment and whether Half-Life Alyx is a compelling enough project to get you into VR. Well, I want to hear your thoughts. Just leave them in the comments or send a letter to Channel 31. Anyways, we'll be back with more New Game Plus after this.
Hey guys, it's Megs here, and my first interview for the year is with a really exciting guest with me on the couch. I'm really excited because it's not only her first time in the studio here with me on these luscious pleather couches, but she's one of the most up and coming, hard-working content creators in Australia today. She's doing some really exciting stuff within pop culture and the tech space, and I really want to deep dive about what it's like to be an influencer, a content creator, YouTube, Twitch streamer, all that whole ecosystem together, but also really educate our viewers out there watching at home about what the industry is really like and what it's like being a female gamer in today's industry. Welcome to the New Game Plus.
Thank you so much for having me.
No worries at all. I've been loving these like luscious cushions and
I'm quite
plastic
happy.
accessories.
This is very me.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's like I'm at home.
Me too. It's my energy for sure. Now, Liessshy, please tell me, where did your love of gaming begin?
Oh, okay. So it started when I was a kid, and I have my parents to thank for that. Mum and Dad bought the Super Nintendo and the PlayStation 1 for themselves, and then I came along, and then they introduced me to games. So that's where my love of Crash Bandicoot comes from as well, because that was the first game I ever played, and Super Mario, and then here I am.
Love that.
Yeah.
I've definitely noticed like a lot of your like posts on Instagram and stuff are really heavily Crash and
it is.
like
It's
PlayStation
huge.
vibes. Yeah, for sure. It's funny when it like really reaches to that nostalgic and it resonates for decades.
That's it. There's so many memories, and it was just a massive joy. So
Love that.
yeah, it's really cool.
What do you get up to day to day? Is streaming and content creation a side hustle?
So it is, but I do kind of classify it as a job. So I work full time, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and then I come home and I work on my content, and then I use my weekends as well. So my time is very valuable on weekends.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and it's full time pretty much, and I really enjoy it. So
Do you find you daydream at work about what you're going to stream that night and like how you
Always.
play? Yeah.
if I have a break at work or time to just think,
Yeah.
I'm straight away thinking about my content and
Yeah.
what's next. And I just feel like I need to use every single amount of time that I have just to work on it, because it's so important to me.
So what was the moment you decided to make your content creation more of a full-time passion?
So it all started about 4 years ago now, and I just said to my partner at home, why don't I start taking photos of my collection? And I had no idea it was going to get to this stage at all. So it started to become quite more full-time and frequent, maybe the last 2.5 years. That's where I started to gain more of a following. I started working with more brands, and then I realized like, wow, I can actually have a career in this. So I put a lot more effort into it.
I love that. Do you have like a natural affinity with social media? Do you sort of understand the ins and outs of how Instagram and YouTube kind of work? And how did you leverage knowing all that to create more engagement with your followers?
Yeah, so I've always loved social media, always. I'm a bit of an addict when it comes to that. And just from watching other people, other creators, seeing how people posted online and what they posted on YouTube, I learnt a lot of knowledge through that as well. So very self-educated, and I just put it to the test and it worked. So, and I've just seen so much improvement over time and you're always learning.
Yeah.
But it's watching other people is how I learned to do it myself.
That's true.
So
You actually have a lot of tech content as well as gaming. What are the brands you're working for at the moment, and what really floats your boat?
So at the moment, I work heavily with PlayStation Australia, and I have for a few years, and I'm also paired up with Google.
Yeah.
So that's with the Google Team Pixel team.
That's so exciting.
It is really exciting, and they're two of my favourite companies of all time. So working with them has been a dream come true. And I have worked with many other tech brands such as like Logitech, Rig, Astro. Oh, the list goes on. Like, I have a massive list, and I can't remember them all now.
You should be so proud. It's really wild.
It's definitely something to be proud about, and it just excites me knowing that brands want to come to me to promote product because they see value in it, and I see value in it because I love it.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. It's such a good feeling.
In my personal experience, being a female in the gaming industry, it's been a bit of a journey, and I wanted to pick your brains about what it's like and how you handle the trolls online, and if you do, especially like now that you've branched out from YouTube videos and expanding that to Twitch, how are you finding what it's like playing online on mic and things like that?
It's hard. So when I first started, I always got upset with trolls, and that's because I didn't know how to handle them.
Right.
Over
It's sad
time,
that we have to know how to handle them.
well, that's it. It
Yeah.
shouldn't even be like that, but it is.
Yeah.
So I've learned to ignore them. Sometimes they get to me, and there'll be times where I do speak up about it because I feel like I'm not the only one doing or suffering from this sort of bullying.
Totally.
So to be a stand for other people is really important to me as well.
Yeah.
But more often than not, I do ignore them. I don't let them bother me because that's what they want. They feed off that.
Yeah.
And the more you give them that attention, the more they're going to do so. So if you can build up that strength and that confidence in yourself to ignore them,
Yeah.
you're going to excel at this.
So you just ignore them,
completely.
you don't bite back?
The times I have, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think I've learned that it's.
I'm not that quick-witted. Like, I actually don't think I come up with like, so's your mum. Like, I don't think I have like that kind of energy. So
There's
yeah.
times where I've definitely had comebacks, and
Yeah.
I do try and when I do bite back, I make it humorous.
You have
Because-
to.
Exactly.
Man, yeah.
Otherwise,
I'll let you
people
cry.
Yeah. And there's been times where I've done that in the past.
Now, in like a blue sky world, where do you want to see your channel and your content creation evolving to? You've come from Sims videos,
Yeah.
and now you're dabbling with brands like Google. What's the future look like to you?
I really want to work for myself. So
Mm-hmm.
to be a full-time content creator would be amazing. I really want to grow on Twitch and YouTube as well.
Mm-hmm.
Going into video content has been really important to me lately because I've built up a lot of confidence. So to do all that full-time will be the dream.
Yeah.
And I just want to be able to represent brands that I love and promote product that I love genuinely.
Yep.
Because I'm very authentic with what I post about and I want people to trust me. So just to do that full-time would be an absolute dream come true, and I know I'd be so happy.
I love it. And my final question that I absolutely love asking people that come on the show and have a chat with me is, what do you say for people out there that are aspiring content creators and Twitch streamers and want to also grow their own personal brand? Like, what's one of the things you wish you had known before you started, or maybe some advice you could give to others out there?
All I can say is just do it. Just do it,
Yeah.
because you have nothing to lose and you're going to learn so much along the way. You're going to learn from people, you're going to meet people, and it just becomes a scene that is so exciting and so valuable. So if you've thought about it, literally just get on Instagram, get on whatever platform you want, upload your first piece of content, and don't worry about if you don't get the engagement that you want.
Okay.
Because the more you start to freak out that, oh, no one's watching my streams, or I'm getting 10 views on my YouTube
Is
video.
it worth it? It's hard.
Yeah, don't let that stop you.
Fear is real. Like, I
It
think
is.
it's very deterring and stressful, and quietening that voice down and just persevering.
That's it. And
Yeah.
it took me 4 years to get to where I am. So it does take a lot of hard work, but if you're dedicated, you're going to smash it. You are going to smash it.
I love it. That's really good advice. Really meaningful, I think. So, Liessshy, where can people follow you on social media if they want to get to their hands on your content and see what you're all about?
So you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. So it's just at Liessshy, Liessshy. My name's Alicia. My nickname's Liessshy. That's where that came from.
Amazing.
So it's the same on everything.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And yeah, thanks for joining me on the couch today and talking all things content creation. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Now, Animal Crossing is about 1 month away, and we figured that it was a good chance to have a discussion exactly why.
No. Actually, you guys have talked a lot about how much you are invested in Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And I'm like happy to enable that. On another level, I still am yet to understand why. So I'm actually gonna can we just like, oh, that's better. Cool. So
Wait, what's happening?
Yeah,
Are you done? What's happening?
No, don't worry about it.
fine.
He's being Jack. It's fine. Just let
I
him do it.
have
Okay.
absolutely taken over the show. So look, I have never played an Animal Crossing game in my life.
Yes.
It came out on, for I guess, like Western audiences, it came out on the GameCube.
Yes.
And then it was on, a lot of people played it on the DS as Wild World, I think it
Yeah.
was. And then it was Animal Crossing New Leaf on 3DS.
Right.
We're not
No, there
talking-
was, and the Wii as well. We had the Wii chat.
Nah, true.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about like Happy Home Designer because
Yeah. Oh, look, I didn't hate Happy Home Designer. The board game one was worse, but yeah.
but it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
But like, when did you get on to the Animal Crossing train? I guess to start with.
First of all, I just want to say thanks for inviting us out of the whole NGP team to be the people that are going to change your mind on
Both of
this.
you were the ones arguing in a Discord meeting about
yeah.
who got to do the review. So
Yeah,
you
that
were
is true.
absolutely the first ones.
Big time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Now you go first. Like my story is pretty long and storied on it. So yeah.
Right. I guess I played the GameCube version as my first experience.
Oh,
but
okay.
It was my
Yeah.
first.
Same by the way. Yeah.
It was my first experience with gaming in real time, like
Yeah.
with the novelty of the clock bringing in seasonal events that was
Yep.
special only for that particular moment, and if you were
Yep.
too late, you missed it. I think it was something that really resonated with me on an emotional, spiritual level. I'm not sure, but I guess like the graphics and things like that were just like
They were quite different for the
So
time.
beautiful. Yeah, they were. Very,
It was its
yeah.
own style. I think
Yeah.
that, again, it was a pass the time game. So you played it because you're just like, cool, I got a couple hours, I'll fish, I'll do this,
Yes.
I'll see this event. So it was all these kind of like, especially in that era, because it was like teenage era, like I was 15, 16.
It was my gateway game.
Yeah.
Gateway drug game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one as well is it had a lot of, so you had to find them because they were just random furniture items, which you'd had the Nintendo that had Excite Bike and Balloon Fight, randomly the things. So they were items in the game as well. So even as a
In the
chance,
world?
yeah. So it was like you set them up on like a TV and like bloop, and it came out. It was like a copy of Excite Bike that you could
Yeah.
play.
Right,
So
cool.
even as a chance to just play classic games, it was good on that. So it was that loving thing of, you know, you fished, you did all these silly things, you had this like silly little town. It was a good analog for
Wholesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a sociopath's guide to life is the other thing to keep in mind. It's like how do you train people how to be real humans? You make them get alone with Tom Nook.
Yes, and one other thing I'd like to add to that is that it's a really mindful game.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that even though there's no rat race, there's no rush to the end. It's like you
That's the
can
thing.
really play at your own pace and do whatever that you feel
Yeah.
like whenever you feel like.
Because like every other game, I feel like that you hear about, that you talk about, is like you sit down and this is the story and this is the gameplay and all
Yeah.
the rest of it. But like this kind of fits into your life in a very different sort of
Yeah.
way, where it's like, I've had a shit day at work. I want to go fishing,
I'm
and
gonna
I'm
hang out with
like,
some villages, make some buds, go
Yeah.
dig some fossils,
is-
complete my museum. There's just
Exactly why the 3DS version has been so long lasting, because people can play it on the bus, on the train, you pay
Yeah,
for a couple
true.
hours, you're at lunchtime, cool, I'll catch a couple of fish. You know, your loan doesn't have a date on it. Unlike a real mortgage, it's like you don't miss a payment, Tom Nook
Yeah.
comes around and breaks your legs. It's basically, cool, I've earned all this money. I mean, I've known people and they're like, oh yeah, I've done this and I've done that, I've done that. I'm like, I didn't even know you could get extra shops. All I've done is go fishing. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's that thing of like, I didn't even know there was a coffee shop. Like, everyone's
Yeah.
like, like KK will play at the coffee shop every Saturday night. I'm like, will he?
there's
Fuck, I
a
don't
sense
know.
of progression as you continue to earn in-game currency. Your town grows naturally. But
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Jack.
Yeah.
Have you played Stardew Valley?
bits and pieces,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so there's an element of Stardew Valley that, like, I believe they emulated Animal Crossing and added new elements to it to give it its own twist.
Right.
But the elements that are in Animal Crossing are really stress-inducing. There's like, every time it's nighttime,
Yeah.
you're hustling to get back to your house, and then you lose all your inventory if you on your current, like, I think it's money when
in
you.
Stardew.
Yeah, Animal-
In Stardew, right? In Stardew,
Yeah,
right?
so Stardew
yeah.
takes that from Harvest Moon. That's where it.
Harvest Moon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Stardew is the baby of Harvest Moon in Animal Crossing. in
Yeah,
that sense,
it's a really hugely defined genre now
Yeah.
that has a lot of other competitors in there. For
Yeah.
depending on what kind of things you really like to get out of your gaming
Like you
experience.
have all these different modifiers and all these
Yeah,
different games.
yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
you kind of get to pick and choose. But Animal
Yeah.
Crossing seems to be the one that people keep coming back to.
Exactly.
And it's because of this like long history, this like
Yeah.
borderline Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Like
It doesn't really date. There's no aging to it. And I think that it's timeless. And I really have to give props to Nintendo. I'm sure you can agree with me on this. They've extended the life of the brand by releasing iterations of the main game that people want so dearly, like the new game, New Horizons. So to be honest, they did release Happy Home Designer, which was just a home decorating game.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
literally
People
it.
come in. I like
All the
blue. I
elements-
like tennis. Can you make
Exactly.
something that's a blue tennis theme?
All the elements of the village were gone. It was
Yeah.
simply just helping other villages decorate.
Right,
So you got
okay.
that really interior decorating stylist energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they released Pocket Camp on Android and iOS,
Yeah.
and it became a monetized version of a franchise that
Yeah.
everyone wanted to get their hands on. Everyone, by this time, people were like, "Oh, that's fine. I get that the mobile game's out. It's really cute and everything. The graphics are really crispy and it
Yeah.
looks gorgeous, but everything costs to win." And
And they added on the flower elements
Yeah.
and breeding the
and
flowers.
now they have a
and
subscription-based
yeah,
service.
I saw.
Like, they're really-
I'm
what they're
like,
doing is like experimenting
Yeah.
with all these things on mobile. So when they make the strategic decisions on HD, so like Nintendo on Switch,
Yeah.
it's not gonna fail as much because they've already
Yeah,
done.
so this is the other thing as well. Is New Leaf had the big update in the middle, which was the camper update, which had the Hello Kitty stuff and all that. So it basically 5 years into its release, it got a huge upgrade, like a huge upgrade. That was when they released the new 3DSs that were designed like
the
Animal
new,
Crossing.
literally new 3DS.
Yeah. And also that was like they had the Animal Crossing themed one, and it's a late time to release a one.
I actually had that
considering
3DS,
the-
yeah.
Been out
Same,
for 5
yeah.
years, yeah. And so they did that, and that was how they extended life previously. And like Megan's saying, Pocket Camp does it the old-fashioned gacha way, and it's not even really gacha. It's just you pay to speed things up. So it's that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So it's got a lot of the elements of kind of the clickers, but with that instead. And it just didn't scratch enough of my itch. Do you know what I mean? Like it just did things that were too, like I got what they were going for, and I think there's some elements that they did with the way they deal with dealing with the animals in the camp and stuff that I think they could bring across and do well. But if I'm paying $100 for it, you're not nickel and diming me. Like, go fuck yourself. I
On a
want to go
Switch,
fish.
yeah.
I want to go
Yeah.
sell them to
That's
Reef,
fair.
and then I want to go like to Brewster's Cove, and that's all I want to do.
Yeah.
And if I got to pay to do that, like, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be real sad.
Well,
So-
I mean, we are waiting for more details to come out because we are, I mean, as of recording, on an eve or coming up to a Nintendo Direct, which is very, very
in like
exciting.
5 hours time. So
Yeah.
hang in for there. But my tip to
Not
you,
going to
Jack,
bed.
if you're still not convinced, jump onto social media, join these micro Facebook groups,
Yeah.
get amongst the
Fair.
community and see what people are hyping up about. But there's also 1,000 million different YouTube videos about all the new features you can look forward to in the New Horizons game that you must have a look at just before you make your
Yeah.
final decision.
You haven't quite gotten me 100% there, but I'm a lot closer than I was before. New Horizons is coming out in March
Yes,
20th.
March 20th.
Hopefully it doesn't get delayed
Same
again.
day.
I'm
Doom
taking a
Eternal.
day off work, man. I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm so
I
keen.
mean, I don't have that same problem, but I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm taking my Switch with me, so it's
Nice.
fine. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's see if I get as into it as these
You
two.
can visit my village.
Well, that's another person that's convinced to play Animal Crossing. Well, I guess I've still got me that wants to play Doom Eternal. Anyways, we'll do it for another episode of New Game Plus. If you want to see more content from New Game Plus, we are online at www.newgameplus.tv, and we are on all the social medias. So Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, all at New Game Plus TV. One word, no spaces. Thank you again for joining us, and tune in again next week for more New Game Plus. Until then, we'll see you.